Hello. So, I had a request the other week about going into more detail on the cycle of the 7 days of the week. Now, part of the request was rituals to do, and the other part was about, for example, with Sunday being the evening of Monday, and because we used to use the moon calendar and things like that, I'm going to be upfront with that right now. When you do your ritual, it doesn't matter that much. It really is up to you. If your intuition tells you that for you, you would rather do your moon ritual on Sunday evening, then do that. I do mine on Monday evening for Mani in the moon. But if your intuition tells you to do it Sunday evening, then go for it, because that just means for you that might work best. There is no right and wrong way with a personal practice that somebody does. That is the thing with paganism and the old ways. There is no Gesetz, there's no Pflicht, there's no it must be this way. It wasn't so before, and it isn't so now. Everybody had their own little ways of doing it, and what matters is that you do it. That's what helps you, what brings you success. So now let's start here. The first day of the week is Sunday, although for some reason people nowadays try and tell me it's Monday. I grew up in the 90s in school, and I always learned the first day of the week was Sunday. So I don't know if this is the fucking Mandela effect or what's going on. Am I on a different timeline now? But it is Sunday, the first day of the week. And I don't know where people come up with this, that now it is Monday. Moving on. So, Sunday is not just the first day of the week. Sunday is the day of the sun and the day of the soul. Because long before modern calendars and long before modern religions, ancient Indo-European peoples knew something profound. The sun is the soul of our solar system. And inside you, your soul is a sun. So, Sunday. In the old Germanic world, the ancient world connected, the soul is Savul, is one of the names that it was called. Instead of saying soul, they said Savul. And from that, the same deep root comes the power of the sun. And the rune, the Suna rune, or in Norse, I think they called it the Sol rune. So the Suna rune is living solar force, the sacred fire, the inner light that keeps life moving forward. The old Germanic people knew the sun was not only something outside of us, it was a spiritual power and sacred being, a cosmic intelligence. And the human being carried an inner reflection of the sun, an eternal center of light. So when we say Sunday, we are also saying return to your inner center, return to your eternal soul. In pre-Christian Germania, the tradition was the sun was worshipped as a goddess. Suna was her name. Suna is not just sunlight, she is the radiant giver of warmth, life, growth, the sacred order. She is the golden fire that rises over the world and reminds all beings you can begin again, you can rise again. And when we speak of the shining purity of that solar power, we speak of Baldur. Baldur is the bright, beautiful radiance of the spiritual sun, the soul itself, the masculine aspect of the sun. Suna is the feminine aspect of the sun, the light of innocence, the light of truth, the light of what cannot be corrupted. Baldur is the soul, looks like when it is freed from shadow. And then there is Ustora, the rising sun, the dawn power, the returning light. Ustora is the moment of awakening, the moment the soul remembers it is meant to grow, meant to rise, meant to return to life. Ustora is the sunrise also within you. The sun was always more than worship, it was initiation. The Germanics understood that the sun is both external and internal, both visible fire and invisible essence. Modern science tells us the same truth in its own language. The sun's surface is only what we see, but its true power is deeper within. And so Sunday is a sacred mirror. A light you seek is not only in the sky, it is inside you as well. So your soul is a sun, and Sunday is the day you reclaim it. So what I hail all three God, Balder and Ostora and Zuna every morning. I wake up early here in Germany for work. I wake up at 4:30 a.m. in the mornings. So even if it is summertime, I wake up early enough to hail the new dawn. And I hail all three of these gods when the sun rises. And in winter, obviously, I am already on the way by the work, and I always hail the new dawn every morning. But on Sunday, I do a little bit extra, and I always make a fire. Now, I heat my house with kamin. My house was built in the year 1818, my old farmhouse here in Saxony, and ironically, it was built before Germany was a nation, so my house is really built in the Kingdom of Saxony in the year 1818, 1 year after the Napoleonic Wars ended. Anyway, so when I make a fire in my kamin, so that's like a fireplace, then I dedicate it on Sundays to the three gods, Suna, Balder, and Ostora. And if I don't have need for a fire, sometimes I have a fire outside, and I always dedicate it to them on Sundays, a bonfire, Lagerfeuer, and sometimes I just light a candle and work with the element of fire as an offering for Sunday. So after Sunday, that leads us to Day of the Moon, Monday, Manistag. So Monday is not just the start of the work week. Monday is Moon Day. And what does the moon do? It reflects the sun. The moon is also the mind. The mind reflects your soul. So the Germanics didn't see the moon as a dead rock in the sky. They saw it as a living power, a sacred rhythm keeper, a spirit that teaches the soul how to renew. In Germania, or Northern Europe, so to say, the moon was mostly called Mani. In Old Saxon, it was Mano. And in Old English, I glaube, es war Mona, or something like that. Anyway, so Mani I'll use, because that's what most people know, is the moon god. It's masculine, the masculine part of the moon, the silent traveler across the night sky, the watcher of time, the keeper of cycles, the one who measures the months, and reminds all beings, nothing stays the same. Everything moves, everything returns, everything becomes new again. The moon does not shine by burning, it shines by reflecting. And that is the mystery of Montag, Monday. This is the day you do not force light, you receive light. You do not conquer the world today on Monday. You listen to it, you feel it, you remember who you are beneath your roles and masks. Monday is the temple of the subconscious and unconscious minds. It is the sacred space of the inner ocean. But here is an old secret. Even the moon needs nourishment. Even the moon must be fed. And that is where the goddess Ithuna enters. Ithuna is the keeper of the apples of renewal, the golden fruit that restores life, the food of youth, nectar of the moon, the sacred sweetness of regeneration. I think the Vedics called it the Soma or something like that. So without Ithuna, the gods themselves weaken. Time would decay them, age would claim them. She is the divine reminder there is always a way back to wholeness. And in the mystical story of Monday, we remember the moon is renewed by sacred nourishment. The apple becomes a symbol not only of youth, but of wisdom, and it ripens, wisdom that ripens. Because an apple is not rushed into being. It takes time. It grows slowly. It becomes full only after cycles of sun and rain. So it is with the moon. So is it within you. And this is the teaching. Mani travels through the darkness, through thinning phases, through emptiness, until it remembers the path back to fullness. And Iduna feeds that remembering. She feeds the moon so it knows how to return, how to rebuild itself, how to become whole again. This is why Monday is not meant for harsh pressure. It is meant for renewal, for restoring the inner self, for feeding the parts of you that grow quietly during the week. And there is something beautifully ironic, almost like a sacred wink across time. Because the name Ithuna or Ithun or Idun or Iduna echoes a meaning within a Vedic name. Indumati, a name connected to the moon, a name that carries the meaning of full moon, fullness, lunar radiance. Indumati. Now these are not cognate words, but they are ironically similar. Iduna and Indumati. So two distant worlds, two different traditions, yet both pointing to the same mystery. The moon is not just light, it is a cycle of becoming whole again. So on Monday, I honor Mani and Iduna. I personally do it in the evenings, but you can do it also on Sunday evening if you want, or during the day on Monday, whenever you have time and feel it is right for you. I like to offer them an apple. I offer the moon and Iduna an apple. And that is what I do on Mondays. I hold it in my hand before my belly button, a few centimeters in front of my belly button with my left hand. And then above it, I have my palm facing the apple, and I do a clockwise circle around just above the apple, a clockwise circle motion. And I chant the name Mani 9 times. Sometimes I use Mano, the Old Saxon, because with me I speak Low Saxon and it resonates with me more. And I also chant Ithuna 9 times after. And then I hold it to the sky, to the moon, and I eat it afterwards. And then you are filling yourself with the energy from the moon gods. And then after that, we are led to Tuesday, Tuesdag, Tuvas. So, the day of Tu, the force of courage, justice, sacred victory. This is not the victory of ego, not the victory of pride, but the victory that is earned by steadfastness, by showing up, by holding the line when life pushes back. The ancient rune for this power is Tuvas, and a single upward pointing arrow. Yeah, not just a symbol, but a spiritual instruction. Move forward, stand for truth, Rise toward your highest destiny. Two is also two words, the rune. They are one, so to say. So it is the rune of divinity, and not as an abstract idea, but as living principle. It is the strength inside you that knows right from wrong and still chooses what is right, even when it costs you something. Tu is not simply a god of war. Tu is the power of bravery against impossible odds. The power of staying firm in the face of fear. The power of courage in the presence of death. The power of inner law that cannot be negotiated with. And this is why Tuesday is not a day for weakness. Tuesday is the day you make a vow to your path. It is the day you remember, my life has direction, my spirit has purpose, my soul is not here to drift. Traditionally, Tu was also linked to the North Star, that still point in the heavens that never moves. The silent guide for travelers, the reminder that even in darkness there is a fixed truth above you. So Tuesday becomes a spiritual compass day. A day to realign, a day to return to what you know is true. And the old myths of Tu carry a harsh but very important lesson. Sometimes to protect the greater good, sometimes must be sacrificed. Not in a tragic way, but in a transforming way. Because the deepest courage is not violence. The deepest courage is commitment. The kind of commitment that says, I will not betray my values. I will not abandon my truth. I will not turn away from my destiny. This is the spirit of Tuvat, or Tyr, the arrow that rises, the warrior heart that refuses to collapse, the shining inner star that guides you on your highest self. And so on Tuesday, how I honor Tu is I face northeast, and I stand, so to say, I make my body into a Tuvat's rune. Yeah, my legs together, I stand up straight, and my arms out, pointing off to the side, kind of at a 35-degree angle, so to say, with my fingers straight out. So I, so to say, make a Tuvat's rune, and then I chant either the rune or simply Tu 9 times. And then I ask for courage, and that he guides me on the right path of truth and courage and destiny to bring me to my highest destiny for this lifetime. And that leads us then to Wednesday, Wodensdag. So, the day of Woden, the wanderer, the magician, the rune master, and the storm of awakening that tears illusion away. If Sunday is the day of the soul, Monday the day of the mind, Tuesday the day of courage and right action, then Wednesday is the day of self-awareness. The day of the mind becoming alive, because Woden is not gentle comfort. Woden is transformation. Woden is the shamanic fury that rises inside you and says, wake up. See clearly. Become more than you were. Woden is the spirit of the seeker, the one who will walk into darkness to steal back wisdom. Not knowledge for pride, but knowledge for power, knowledge for liberation, knowledge for truth. Woden is the god of ecstasy, not pleasure, but the ancient meaning of ecstasy. To step outside the ordinary self, to leave behind the small identity and touch the greater mind. This is why Wednesday is the threshold day, a crossroads, a turning point in the week where the spirit asks you one sacred question. Are you living consciously or unconsciously? Woden's power is the force that breaks trance, to make the unconscious conscious, the force that ends sleepwalking, the force that makes you aware of your patterns, your masks, your addictions, your fears, your hidden motives, because you cannot change what you refuse to see. And Woden makes you see. He is the storm behind the eyes, the wild intelligence that rips open the mind like lightning splitting a tree. And that is why his energy is often described as fury. Not rage for destruction, but fury as divine intensity. Intensity, yeah? I think the word is intensity, yeah. The burning fire, you know what I mean? Of awareness that will not be silenced, huh? Woden is the part of you that refuses to remain ignorant. He is the voice that whispers, there is more. More than the surface. More than routine. More than the role you're being played. Woden is the sacred hunger for deeper reality, and the rune he carries is not just a symbol, it is an intuition. Nay, not intuition, initiation. That is the word I'm looking for. An initiation, yes. The runes are not only letters, they are powers, living patterns of unconsciousness, and Woden is the one who brings runes into the human world. He brings spiritual technology into the hands of the seeker. So Wednesday becomes the day of rune itself. The day you sharpen your perception. The day you read signs. The day you learn to listen to the hidden language of life. Because Woden is not in the heavens. Woden is in the wind. In symbols, in sudden realizations, in the strange moment when life interrupts you and you realize universe has been trying to speak. So on Woden's day, we honor Woden not by being safe, but by being honest, not by hiding, but by awakening, not by dullness, but by focused clarity. Entschuldigung. So, on Woden's day, I offer him also the earth element, because his rune is the Ota rune. Entschuldigung. Heimat, yeah? Your inherited land of your ancestors. And I offer him earth element. So, once again, I go with fruit normally, because it's something you can charge and then eat afterwards. And with that, I will stop this video and I will make a part 2. Tschüss.